Okay, we're coming back talking about corrupt leadership within organizations. My particular organization is United House of Prayer for All People. My name is Brother Lewis, and I will be sharing information today. This video is for educational and informative purposes only. It is intended for anybody that's interested in this content, where I will be talking about red flags and identifying leadership that is outside of the confinements of the law, broken, as is our current organization's leadership. They are completely outside of the law and not abiding by any laws at this point in time. With that in mind, if you notice anything in these videos that reminds you of anything in your institutional organization, then you may want to begin to ask questions. You may want to dig a little, and you may want to bring those things to the attention of certain people so that those things can be brought forward, and individuals can be held accountable for their actions. What you will learn as we cover the 501c3 is that the board of directors, they can be held accountable by law for the actions of their CEO or their president or any of their elected officers in the event that the board does not check them and hold them accountability for any illegal activity. The board of directors, once again, can and at times has been held accountable for not holding their officers accountable to the law. So we're going to get into this at this point in time because our organization is way outside of the law and our members have no knowledge of this whatsoever. So I'm going to introduce a few things in this first video. It's going to be rather short. And then as an introduction, then we're going to come back and we're going to make more on top of this so that we can go through understanding what a 501c3 is and the do's and don'ts, what can be done and what should not be done, what's legal, what's not legal within the confinements of the law, and those which are not. Anyway, I'm going to share this with you so that you understand. When we're talking about a 501c3, we're talking about, for the most part, nonprofit organizations or businesses or institutions. And I'm putting this up long enough for you to freeze frame so that you can take a picture and read along with me if you like. But this says, welcome to the board of directors. As a nonprofit board member, your talents and wisdom will be appreciated and tested. You will face challenges and there will be success and disappointments. Your reward will come from working with fellow board members and the nonprofit's staff to create value for the people whom the nonprofit serves. Every nonprofit is supposed to serve people. They're supposed to serve a group of people. And it is illegal for that nonprofit to serve just a few people. And this is why we're getting into this, because our nonprofit has only served for years and decades from the beginning, only a few people. This is why you need to understand, I keep saying this, you need to understand the law and how the laws work. And you need to start standing up for the law, because as you heard from Brother Killingsworth in one of the recordings, a person who does not speak up for themselves, who does not assert their rights, has none. Okay, if you don't speak up for yourself, if you don't cry out whenever there's help needed, then no help will be coming. Let's continue. This guidebook provides an overview of your role and responsibilities as a board member. Now, I went to, and anybody can do this, I went to the General Assembly of the state that I'm currently in right now, North Carolina. And this is what you're going to hear as I read this. This guidebook provides an overview of your role and responsibilities as a board member of a North Carolina nonprofit corporation. It has 4 parts. Now, if you are a nonprofit within the state, you must comply with the laws that the state mandates. Any other state, you must comply with those laws. And then there are federal laws that you must comply with if you are a nonprofit under the 501c3, because you have been awarded non-tax status, meaning you're exempt from being taxed in certain regards. It goes on to say the nonprofit corporation is a primer, the nonprofit board, some essentials, the duties and liabilities of nonprofit board members, take note, tax exemptions for nonprofit, need to know basics. Purpose of this guidebook. This guidebook is meant as a checklist of matters for you to consider and questions for you to ask as a nonprofit board member. Sprinkled throughout the book are pointers describing good practices for nonprofit boards, along with examples drawn from the experiences of other nonprofits. Often this guidebook will urge you to adopt formalities that you might find excessive. These formalities are not mere ceremony. They are meant to assure that you and your fellow board members stay focused on your mission. Observing formalities will also help to protect you and the organization from potential liabilities. Right now, we are liable for a whole lot of stuff if we don't hurry up and get it straightened out, because our leaders are all over the place outside the law. They're playing hopscotch with the law and do not understand the seriousness of the case, probably because Mr. Cunningham stated up north a few weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, not worried about this Constitution, not worried about what's going on, because he's got people in three-letter agencies. Those are his words, his exact words. So since Mr. Cunningham says that he has people in three-letter agencies and he's not worried about it, that means either the friends that is in these three-letter agencies looking out for him, either he's using them to try to break the law to protect him while he's breaking the law, or that means he's paying people somewhere within these agencies to break the law while protecting him because he has been breaking the law. By his own admission, based on the report that's given to us, he's saying he's not worried about it. Based on his actions, he's showing and demonstrating he's not worried about it. Our laws, Constitution within our organization has mandated that our leader can be tried and removed from that position for cause. There is a list of cause that we have, not just one, but several reasons and laws that has been broken, presenting the cause for removing our leader from the position that he's in. However, even though that list has been given, notification of violations, he has not yet accepted the reality. He's supposed to be suspended. And I've said this and said this and said this over these videos, yet he's acting within the full powers of the office illegally. And the reason why he has not been served is because the gentleman under him and his assistant, the Secretary of the General Assembly, they have willingly neglected serving him. So that makes them liable as well. They're in collusion with his illegal activity. Therefore, all of these individuals are to be brought forward in question because of their willingness to be non-compliant with our laws, the willingness to intentionally disobey and break our laws. So don't worry about this. Trust me when I tell you this is a very, very good thing. Anyway, let's go forward. Often this guidebook will urge you to adopt formalities that you might find excessive. Again, this is to protect the board of directors and the organization from potential liabilities. With that in mind, let me go down a little bit so that I can show you the importance and what it is that a nonprofit is supposed to be. Here, again, this is based in North Carolina. Okay. What is a nonprofit corporation? Some corporation basics. A corporation is an entity recognized by law as separate from the individuals who form it and who participate in its activities. Corporation. Separate from the individuals who form it and who participate in its activities. A nonprofit corporation, like a business corporation, requires government recognition. To obtain that recognition, the entity must go through a process called incorporation. It is not enough that people with a common purpose simply agree to act as a corporation. A nonprofit corporation can be formed in North Carolina by filing a document called Articles of Incorporation to the Secretary of State's office, which is in Raleigh. The Articles of Incorporation, sometimes called a charter, list certain fundamental terms of the corporation. After incorporation, nonprofits must adopt detailed rules on how the nonprofit will be run. You cannot run a nonprofit any kind of way. There must be rules. These rules are called bylaws. In the event of a conflict between the Articles of Incorporation and the bylaws, the articles prevail. The Nonprofit Corporations Statute provides for a board of directors. Now, let me go down and I'm going to show you when it comes to the board of directors. Let me give you what this says about the board and what it says about the officers. Okay. Let me go to a picture. Page 9. This is what a nonprofit is supposed to be set up like. And this is going to be easy for you all to follow. Right here. Take a picture. Okay. The board. The board, which we call the General Assembly, is the governing group. The board. The CEO, which the General Assembly elects, that we call a bishop, they're the management. Okay? The board's job is to hire, support, and evaluate CEOs. The board's job is to hire, support, and evaluate CEOs. That means the General Assembly's job in the House of Prayer is to support and evaluate bishops. They're supposed to be evaluated, just like a CEO is evaluated on a quarterly, a semi-annually, or an annual basis. Quarterly is every 4 months. Semi-annually, every 6 months. Annually is once a year. Right now in the House of Prayer, it's once a year. the board, the General Assembly meet, and their job is to evaluate the performance of the CEO slash bishop. Evaluate means the bishop does not rule you. No, 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 no. You have the power to hire CEOs, bishops, and you have the power to fire them. It goes on to say they ensure adequate resources. That means the board of directors are over the resources, the staffing, the departments, all of those things, including the money, the equipment, what's going to be purchased, what's not. The board of directors is over that. Board recruitment, the board of directors. Approving policies is supposed to be the board of directors. That's the General Assembly. They're the ones who approve policies, not the bishop. Why is that there? Because here, auxiliary bylaws, okay, show you how they've set this thing up to give the bishop all the power of the organization and take all the power away from the people. Here, the bishop writes these books, or he approves of them. And look at Article 5 here. Down here, it says, all members of the house of prayer should work on an auxiliary, but not more than they can support, which is financially. Now, the bishop has put the pastor in charge of all of the auxiliaries. And in order for an auxiliary to do anything whatsoever, the pastor must be in approval of it. Now, let me come back to this, because I want to show you a law that says that the bishop, whenever he asks or make inquiry, that the members or the officers are to comply. And there's nothing whatsoever that they should do to not find whatever the answers are that the bishop wants to know. I'm going to come back to that. And I'm going to do this by marking bullet points where I want to take you, so I don't want to take up too much time. But this, listen, you see here, the board sits over and observes and monitors the actions of a CEO. Okay? This is what it's supposed to look like. They all watch and monitor all of his actions. Why? Because the board is the one who's over everything. They oversee everything. And they oversee CEOs. They keep the CEO in check. Now, what does the CEO do? The CEO is the manager. They coordinate and manage volunteers. They coordinate and they manage volunteers. They don't run everything and take ownership of everything. You heard Mr. Cunningham in Florida talk about the members going back and forth to the hotels, riding his buses. Well, what made them your buses? The board of directors, they hired a CEO. General Assembly elected a bishop. Immediately, the bishop owns the property of the house of prayer. He said, my buses. Is that the reason why his name is on the brand new buses that he purchased? His name is on the bus drivers' uniforms? Y'all going to be surprised at what it is that I show you concerning the things going on in this organization. The CEO is to lead and manage fundraising. He leads and manages fundraising. That's all. He leads and manages it. He does not make policies and procedures to bring money in. He just leads and manages, which means he is to operate a policy or a procedure that the board of directors, they come up with. He leads day-to-day operations. And look at this right here. CEO, right here. Look at what that says. Let me blow this up. Look at under leading day-to-day operations. It says abide by policies. The bishop is supposed to be abiding by the policies, not above the policies. He's not supposed to be sidestepping policy. He doesn't get to do whatever he feels like. If that's the case, then the Constitution would not say that he can be tried and removed. But he knows that he's violated all kinds of laws, and he knows that when I tell him that you getting ready to be moved, buddy, then he knows he's getting ready to be moved. I'm sorry, I don't want to offend anybody. Don't want to disrespect them and call him buddy. Slip of a tongue. Anyway, he's supposed to abide by the policies, create procedures focused on clients and customers and execution. He's supposed to build external relationships, and he's supposed to support the board. He's not supposed to rule the board. No CEO in any company rules a board. Their job is to carry out the instructions of the board. Whenever we have an issue, it is the CEO who should look into the matter. However, it is also the CEO that should resolve the matter. So whenever the board of directors calls him into question, this becomes a part of his performance evaluation. How are you resolving the matters that you're confronted with? If he's not resolving any matters at all, then he's going to fail that evaluation with flying colors. Now, here's your issue. We have entire leadership outside the law. So what does a board do? They fix it. How do they fix it? They call a board meeting. They call the CEO in and any other officers, they call them in, and they look into the matters that have been brought to their attention, that the CEO has been up to, or the laws that they've been violating, and they get to the bottom of it. That's what's about to happen here in our organization. I'm going to go ahead and end this video. This is an introduction to what it is that's coming. So prepare yourselves, everybody. Again, get ready to take notes. We're going to be learning quite a bit about what the leader of the House of Prayer should be, should not be doing, and what the other officers of the House of Prayer should and should not be doing, and how it's supposed to be run to make sure that we are in compliance with the law in the House of Prayer as an organization, as well as the law of the land. We'll see you in the next video.